Okay.
But it is
Here.
possibly covered. Yeah.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get the meeting started, please. First, we'd like to call the meeting to order, and as always, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance followed by a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum of the Planning Commission members present tonight. All members are present except for Nathan Cohen. As always, reminder to remember to have your microphone on when you make comments or ask questions. First order of business is to adopt the agenda for tonight. Does anyone see anything to change or add here? I will mention that because of the comprehensive plan being on here, we will go through our two public cases and suspend and let the Board of Supervisors come into order to deal with those, and then we'll proceed with the comprehensive plan review as a joint session with the Board of Supervisors. Other than that, is there anything to change or modify in the agenda? If not, can we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Motion been made
Second.
and seconded to adopt the agenda as amended. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Always, as usual, we will allow for any public comment at this time before we start. Looks like there's none. New business, we need to adopt the minutes from February 26, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I'm making a recommendation that we adopt the minutes as presented.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to adopt the minutes as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we have two public hearings tonight. The first case is case number RZ-10-30-24-01. Mr. Josh Heggie, a recovery by right uses, by right uses. This is the second workshop. This is not a workshop. This is the joint session. Mr. Josh Heggie is seeking to recover the by right B1 business uses of his property located on Seminole Trail, tax map number 32-102. An application for rezoning, case number RZ-04-23-4, was previously approved by the Board of Supervisors in March of 2023 with conditions. As a result, the applicant lost the right to some B1 uses by proffer. The applicant's business needs have changed, and he is seeking the restoration of all the B1 by right uses. All right, Mr. Nichols, anything to add to that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. After considering this application carefully, listening to the two previous workshops and all of the comments herein, I did review the existing comprehensive plan very closely, and I found the applicant's application to closely align with our development goals as a county. My staff recommendation is written in your packet, and I think that the rezoning of this property from B1 with conditions to B1 is appropriate and the correct thing to do, so staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is there any question or comment from the planning commission dealing with the staff recommendation? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. In that case, does the applicant wish to address any possible changes or anything he wants to add at this point? As always, if you would just identify yourself and go from there.
Good evening. My name is Josh Heggie, and thank you for your allowing me the time for this case this evening. You may be wondering why I'm back here when you gave me what I requested nearly 2 years ago. So I wanted to explain that just ever so briefly, the change in business needs. So I own the company Shenandoah Homestead Supply, and we supply pretty much everything you need to milk a cow. So stainless steel buckets and strainers, and including milk bottles. And this American-made glass milk bottle here became a real mainstay, primary product line for us. This is the same bottle you'll buy in Yoder's filled with milk. It's a very durable bottle. You can drop it and it'll hold up. It's 2 pounds of glass, and it'll hold up far longer than a Coke bottle. So this product was selling to home makers and kitchens all over the U.S. We were selling 8,000 to 10,000 of them per month, and we were needing more warehouse shed storage capacity than what my basement could provide. So that was the gist of the zoning application before, was to allow place to bring this product in, store it, pack it, and as well as have a showroom for our homestead supply products. In the short story is the Chinese knocked it off. There's now 20 or 25 copies of this thing online and on Amazon, and our sales have gone from, or our revenue, this made up 80-some% of our revenue, it's gone down to about 10%, or less than 10%. And we're needing to broaden out to cover overhead and just be able to keep our employees employed. So as you all are aware, I'm sure, the zoning before was only an ag supply store. I still want that. We're still a homestead company, homestead supply company. But the way I see it, we need to broaden out a little bit beyond that to have a little more of a broader range of products in absence of the glass sales. So looking for things like skid steer attachments, and storage containers. These are some of the current ideas I have for something that could display well along the highway there and hopefully fit well with the nature of the area as well, not be too disruptive. So if there's any questions on any matter at all, I'd be happy to answer those, but that's all I have. Thank you for considering it.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay. And of course, we've been through 2 workshops with lots of questions. So, thank you, sir. Any public comment at this point on this application? Okay, no public comment. Do we have any discussion from the Planning Commission dealing with this? I think Alan has summarized the B1 situation pretty thoroughly. Personally, I think this is an example of probably the hazards of putting a lot of conditions on a B1 rezoning. Any comments, discussion? All right. If not, is anyone ready to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a recommendation that case number RZ-10-30-24-01 be recommended to the Board of Supervisors for approval.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
before we
sir.
vote, I'd like to make a statement.
Yes, sir.
I've put some time and effort into looking into this property. Do I feel like this property needs to be B1? I do. But the problem I got is, I've been involved in state code all my life and know a lot about Virginia state code. This piece of property right now is not buildable. And I'm not gonna support it for the simple fact that it's not buildable right now, couldn't be built on.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Any further comment? Any further discussion? All right, the motion's been made and seconded, and no further discussion. All in favor of approving this as per the recommendation, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Note that Pete Elliott has voted against. All the others are for. All right, so case number RZ-10-30-24-01 will be recommended for approval to the Board of Supervisors by a vote of 5 to 1. Okay, since we do have one missing. All right. Second case is case number SP-01-09-25, Anabaptist Health Share. This is a site plan application. And again, this is not the second workshop, this is the joint meeting. Country View Homes has filed a site plan application on behalf of Anabaptist Health Share for a property located on South Seminole Trail and identified as Madison County Tax Map 48-8C. The site is located on the west side of Highway 29, just south of Orange Road. The property contains a total of 3.214 acres and is zoned B1 business. The project, known as Anabaptist Healthcare Office, is proposing to construct a new 14,091 square foot office building pursuant to Appendix 1 of zoning, Article 8-1-3. Office buildings are a by right use. 43,554 square feet of earth will be disturbed during construction. All right, Mr. Nichols again, anything to add there?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the only remaining item that was up for discussion at our last workshop was the movement of the easement that now is being shown on the plan as moving through the parking spaces. My understanding is that it has been successfully relocated. It's been agreed to by the holder of that easement. And so at this time, this meets our ordinance and seems appropriate for approval.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Nichols?
I guess I have one comment.
Yes, sir.
You say you have an understanding, is that, what does that entail?
I recommend that this application for site plan is approved. That's my recommendation. It has
No,
met.
I asked you about the right of way.
The right of way, yeah.
Yes, the document was delivered to me either late yesterday or this morning, I forget which one, but I do have it in my hand. I did not get it into the packet for you.
Okay.
I will review it and make sure it is satisfactory. I've not done so yet, but I believe that it is correct, and if it's not, I'm sure the applicant will take care of it. I think that in practical terms, I don't see any way that the access, that the easements, or the area that the easement serves will be obstructed. The plan doesn't show that it'll be obstructed in any way. It's simply getting moved onto the, to show on a piece of land 12 feet to the east. So that is happening. We can ask the applicant. I believe that all of that is in order, and we should be good to go.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions for Mr. Nichols? All right, if the applicant would like to come up, address the planning commission, identify yourself.
Yes, sir.
And we've been through 2 workshops already, so it's pretty well beaten up, so does anyone have any questions?
Yep, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I'm Al Ash, and I'm here to represent Anabaptist Health Share. I do have the easement it was recorded with Meta, and that's all been taken care of, so I appreciate the concerns. We did move it over into the travelway right here to go back and serve to the building there in the back.
Can you show us on this one?
Well, that's true. I'm looking up here, I'm pointing at the wrong, but we did move it over here to this travelway right here, to where they can go there to the building.
Moved it from where?
Huh?
Exists in the parking spaces.
See, it was a 12-foot easement that went back through here to that little substation building. And this was where the original path was, and we moved it over into the new travelway.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How hard was it to work over here?
Oh, over here. I wasn't sure where it was coming from.
This is more just curiosity. How hard was it? How responsive was Meta?
Not very. It took a little bit of doing because they have like sub companies that you go through until it works its way up until you get to the parent company. So it did take a couple weeks. That's why I didn't have it earlier when we had our workshop.
Very good, thank you. Any further questions for the applicant?
And, Mr. Jackson, the only reason why I even said anything about that is because they had suggested there would be parking spaces in that. And
That
that was
is
the only
correct.
reason why I was.
I understood completely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, any other question for the applicant? If not, thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Okay. And that being the case, is there any public comment on this case? No public comment, nothing online? Okay, thank you. In that case, is there any further discussion from the planning commission?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that case number SP-01-09-25 be recommended to the Board of Supervisors for approval.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. So case number SP-01-09-25 will be recommended as submitted to the Board of Supervisors for approval. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, with the comprehensive plan review as part of our business tonight, I will request a motion to suspend, and then we'll let the Board of Supervisors come into session.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Um,
Thank you, Joe.
Thank y'all. We do have a quorum, we do need to adopt an agenda. We should add under new business C, comp plan joint review, like we're gonna do here in just a couple minutes. Anybody else have anything we need to add to the agenda this evening? Anything down there? What would y'all like to do with the amended agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. As always, public comment. Public comment. How are we doing? A lot of people watching us? That's pretty good. That's like, it's not a record, but it's close. They're not commenting though. Not yet, all right. Yeah, one's Tracy. Case number RZ-10-30-24-01. Hagee Josh, recovery of by right uses, and this is the hearing. Mr. Josh Hagee is seeking to recover the by right B1 business uses on his property located on Seminole Trail, tax map number 32-102. An application for rezoning, case number RZ-04-23-4, was previously approved by the Board of Supervisors in March of 2023 with conditions. As a result, the applicant lost the right to some of the B1 uses by proffer. The applicant's business needs have changed, and he is seeking the restoration of all the B1 by right uses. Alan, anything to add?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody have any questions for Alan?
No, sir.
All right, to the applicant. Anything to add, Mr. Hagee?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, to the public. To the public. Are we still batting 100 over there? 0, got it. All right, no public comment. Back to the board.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case number RZ-10-30-24-01 as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Hagee. Case number SP-01-09-25, Anabaptist Health Share, site plan application. Country View Homes has filed a site plan application on behalf of Anabaptist Health Share for the property located on South Seminole Trail and identified as Madison County Tax Map 48-8C. The site is located on west side of Highway 29, just south of Orange Road. The property contains a total of 3.214 acres and is zoned B1 business. The project, known as Anabaptist Health Share Office, is proposing to construct a new 14,091 square foot office building pursuant to Appendix 1 zoning, Article 8-1-3. Office buildings are a by right use. 43,554 square feet of earth will be disturbed during construction. Alan?
Just want to add that I appreciate that the applicant is choosing to build here. This is the kind of business that we'd like to see in Madison, and I strongly recommend approval.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Any questions for Alan? All right, anything? All right. Al, anything to add?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Okay, good.
And just because I don't have an opportunity a little bit later, but
You will.
I would like to thank the board for doing a good job of who you hired for your new zoning administrator. I've appreciated working with Alan. He has been diligent in doing the things that need to be done, and I've appreciated that. And with that, I also would have a comment to say that in our rules here, in our zoning guidelines, Madison County chooses to put a restriction of these kind of site plans that need to come in front of the board at 40,000 feet. And I just would like for the board to consider, if you would, to move that to 43,560, which is the DEQ regulation, so that it would have saved us about 2 months worth of time in the project to be able to move forward. And it's just something to think about and something I wanted to say. I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you, Al. All right. Makes a good point. All right. Any questions for Mr. Esch? All right, to the public. Still, All right, no public comment. Back to the board. What would y'all like to do with the site plan for Anabaptist Health Share?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case number SP-01-09-25.
I second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Steve, you want to reconvene and we can talk comp plan?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. So let's, the planning commission reconvene for joint session with the board of supervisors. And we have the comp plan ready for kind of public viewing here before the board of supervisors. And I think maybe at this point, probably would be best if, since you've got to look at it, you just take it from here.
Thank you. What I'd like to do is just run through the comp plan. The track changes, or not track changes, the red line changes, start on page, I think it's 40. If anybody has anything, I don't know, hold your hand up, just speak up. Anybody have low number pages that they'd like to hit as we start this? Or would you like to just go to the red line pages?
I might mention that, remember, at this point, grammar, punctuation, spacing, things like that will be done in the final draft, so we're not really looking at that.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Perfect.
At this point, though, if you find those things, please shoot me an email, call me, whatever you want to do as you go through. The more eyes on it at this point, the better, but we don't need to do meeting time unless you really want to. Just shoot me a note and show me and we'll fix it.
All right, anybody have any pages between 1 and 40 that they have concerns, questions, comments about? Anybody?
No, not me.
Everybody good up here? Anybody good down there? All right,
Can we call it 24-25?
what?
The date's
Oh.
24.
Yeah, you changed, that's
Change that,
grammatical. Change that, please. Bear with me a sec while I scroll down. All right, going to page 40. All right, let me get rid of this. First delete is on 44, talking about the master plan. Anybody have any concern with this or in favor of the deletion like the planning commission has recommended to us? Anybody have any comments on this one? 44, yes, sir. At the let me clarify, I apologize, Mike. I'm working off the pages. I think everybody probably has different versions depending on what device you've got. I'm working off of the actual page number from the comp plan, down in the bottom right-hand corner. Anybody have any issue with that one? All right, moving right along, number 44.
Mr. Chairman.
Please, yes, sir.
If I may.
Please.
By any issue with the one that's struck, is that we're leaving it struck?
Yes, leaving it struck.
very
It will
good.
be
Do you want-
permanently deleted.
Do you want the exhibit to go along with it or no?
No, I think the
No,
exhibit,
that's
I think the exhibit's fine.
Very good.
Anybody have any issue with that? All right, so keep the exhibit, get rid of the red line. Let's go to 45, the top, cluster housing. That has also been redlined. It was brought up early on in this process. Anybody have any issue with that? I tend to agree with that. I do think we probably should get rid of that one. We are lacking pictures, but, I think that one's one we probably should delete.
45.
That picture at the top and then the top red line.
All right, so we're getting rid of the 3.3 as well as the photograph.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let me ask,
Please.
so, I mean, if you were to consider stuff, this is overall going forward. If you wanted to consider a master plan zoning districts or cluster housing, that would mean we would have to also designate areas that we'd want to see that in, right? And that's why I'm comfortable with this staying struck, because I'm not ready to do that. But, I mean, that was just my thought process when I, saw this struck, but.
So I have a question regarding this.
Yeah.
Why we're striking it, but, so I've seen some things where they use like veteran, small homes to bring people back from injuries and those type of things, and these type of cluster type situations where you're gonna have like mental health clinic right there, you're gonna have physical therapy, that kind of stuff, in these small homes, and they come in for 2 or 3 years, and they go out, and another person comes in. So we're gonna strike this?
I think that's different.
Yeah, I think
that
that's
different
different
than-
because you're talking multi-use, where there's services provided, where the direction on this was more cluster for residential so that it doesn't just cut up agricultural lands.
I was thinking like tiny homes for these type of people living while they're getting better, but, I mean, and that
Yeah.
being said, I don't think there's anything on the books for that, but I didn't know why we needed to strike it, other than the fact that you don't wanna have these homes taking up rural land.
Right, right.
I've seen a bunch of these cluster type of developments in agricultural lands up in like the Lancaster area. Driving around, theoretically, they sound very, very good, and maybe they are very, very nice. I tend to agree with Cardy on the basis that I don't think that, not just the time for Madison County, but also kind of going at personal property rights and government interference into that, to designate these areas as clusters, I've got some issues with. Up in Pennsylvania, they have them, and what it appears to me is that they start as a 10-unit type of development, and they just branch off and get larger and larger and larger. So the intended purpose, it starts with what the intention is, and then it just becomes a subdivision. And it kind of is counterproductive.
I also agree with what you're saying, Cardy, because the big concern here is the price of real estate in Madison can't afford to do it.
But now,
Suppose these are like half-acre lots or less, possibly, is that right?
Problem.
So if you were gonna do
Less.
a half-acre lot and have a house on it, would that actually improve the land value per acre? I'm just not disagreeing, but I'm just,
Generally, what a cluster would do is that you would have an acreage that would support 10 lots, let's say. But you would cluster the houses.
Yeah.
They would be much less than what the lot size would allow, and the rest of it would be common space and open space and whatever. Seems to be the thing that planners like at the moment.
yeah, I think, if Mr. Ash continues with his plan for what he's talking about, I would certainly like to suggest to him that he, put the houses together and leave open space as an example. But I'm not gonna go and tell Mr. Jewett that I think his farm would be a perfect place for a cluster house area, I won't do that.
she's right on 15.
And when you do cluster, you gotta have some water and
They'd never
sewer.
find my
No,
water.
true, that's true.
Half-acre lot, you can't get a house and sewer and water.
That's true too, Pete, yeah. All right, cool, all right.
Everybody good with getting rid of the cluster housing
Yeah.
and the picture that's directly below it? All right, let's go to 46, 4.2, just deleting the reference to 29 and 230 in the Seville Road as a logical location for business and commercial. If I remember correctly, the reason we're deleting it is we've designated pretty much the whole Route 29 corridor study, or as part of this economic development and housing and everything. Why just identify those sites? Anybody got any issue with this? All right, delete that one. Moving on. I believe the next one is on page, it's on page 50. And that's getting rid of in agricultural conservation residential zones, allowing for the by right establishment of home-based businesses with limited on-site client contact. Cardy?
I'm sorry, I did have one on page 48.
All right, go back to 48.
Go back to 48, in the third paragraph down, says, in this comprehensive plans, land use, environment, and community design plan, Route 29, particularly its intersections of Route 230 and Seville Road, here we go again, are identified as areas suitable. I think we ought to strike that whole paragraph because it contradicts the Route 29 corridor study and Goal 3.1, which we just looked at. So that's no different than what we struck 2 pages ago, in my opinion.
Alan, rebuttal?
See what I'm saying?
None, Mr. Chairman.
All right, who else has comments on this comment? Anybody?
I agree to the comment.
All right, we're gonna delete that one.
Yeah.
Third paragraph, page 48. Good catch. Now, to 50, I believe. 2.5, talking about on-site, by right, low, impact type businesses. Deleting that, it seems like we just went through this. We've kind of addressed it in a sort of way. What do you got, Alan? Anything?
Home-based occupation does address this for the most part. I don't have any other thoughts to add at this time.
Everybody good with deletion of that?
Yeah, it's a sticky wicket. I think we can't make it by right.
That's a weird terminology, Cardy.
Yeah.
Go to page 54. That's the next one. You've got red.
You don't have any on 52?
I do. 52, dang it. excuse me. Yeah, here, yes, excuse me. 52, at the same time, if housing prices continue to increase across the region and single-family residential construction remains slow, multi-unit may be in greater demand.
That's just an opinion that doesn't mean anything to me.
Exactly. In reference to that, I went to page 53 and looked at the last, paragraph that basically talks about the free market and what developers, how it all works out. I think deletion of the terminology on page 52, rolls right along with that. If it was in great demand, it would be here. Anybody got any problems with 52 deletion? All right, now to 54. We've got 1.5, that's the create a housing authority committee consisting of the county planner and other folks. We just, pertaining to the Realtors Roundtable, they've already got the Realtors Roundtable, which is of great success, and only positive stuff is coming out of that. I don't see any reason to identify all these different people specifically in a very broad brush type of plan. Yeah, they just came out with a hyper reach a minute ago, Zach. Yeah, there you go. Anybody got any problem with deletion of 1.5, the red line only? Anything? All right, going to goal 2, shortening it up, getting rid of all the red line on it, specific segments of Madison County population, including seniors, young people, entering the workforce, households. Good Lord, we're covering everybody. We're deleting all those people because that's everybody in this community.
Unless we forgot somebody.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody good? All right, no comment, we're moving on.
Okay, I do have one comment on the first line on 2.1.
Okay, good.
On page, it says, consider adopting a flexible policy ordinance that allows for the expanded use of accessory dwelling units. Get rid of the word expanded, because we don't have any use at this point, right? Allows for the expanded use. See what I'm saying, Alan?
Yes, sir.
I don't know,
Everybody
just-
good? Makes good arguments. All right,
All right.
good. We're getting rid of the word expanded.
We don't have one ADU here?
No. Oh, well.
Technically, I mean,
Right.
legally,
We're not talking about that.
Right.
50, yes, sir.
Gentlemen, did we hit 2.2? We've got one struck word in here, just to confirm. We got the word aging.
Oh.
Neighborhoods for aging populations.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody good on getting rid of aging?
Yeah, I'm tired of
Everybody
being
good?
discriminated
Yeah,
against.
we're going after you specifically. We appreciate that. All right, we're getting rid of the word aging. Go to page 55, I guess. We've got a bunch of red lines. Get rid of the word understand. I think that one's pretty simplistic. Go down to encourage relationships instead of foster partnerships. I think we're doing that already and we should continue. And then go down to 3.6 to encourage economic development initiatives that will increase income to make, there's a feel warm and fuzzy type of statement we're deleting. Everybody good with that? All right, we're getting rid of that one. All right.
We're looking at this cluster housing diagram again, right below that.
All right, get rid of cluster housing diagram.
I'm just,
That's
pointing that
fine.
out.
We agree with consistency.
I am on your side on that one.
That was instantaneous results there. Very good. Thank you, Mike. Going to 56, traffic count data. Basically deleting all of that. Wasn't one of the bases of this that we had a hard time citing information or where we're getting
I
this
could not
from?
recreate the information that was in the table. We got rid of the table, and during the conversation, we decided, why do we need this?
I agree with that. Everybody fine with that? All right. Moving on, I think your next red line goes to page, this is where Cardi and I are gonna go at it.
Yeah.
This is good, I've got a red star. Number 62. Good. 1.7, it takes out bike lanes. I find, I don't have a whole lot against bikers, but I do find that 99% of the Madison County population generally dislikes bikers and finds them to be a safety hazard on all of our rural roads. Yeah, I see you down there, Jim. Thank you. The agricultural communities together.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't know.
this is cyclists, right?
Yeah,
Not
cyclists.
bikers.
No. Motorcycles are fine. They can keep moving at a rapid pace. I don't know. I'm against bike lanes. I just don't see the practicality of it. Cardi,
Okay, now,
make your point. Yes,
That's
sir.
right. People like you and, you know, a lot of people don't, like Etland Road, they're on my road all the time. And the reason it irritates us is because we don't have a bike lane, okay? If we had a bike lane, they'd be in the bike lane and not on the road. So I'm just looking at, for the future, if anything comes up where, you know, a developer or somebody would want to proffer to put in an actual bike lane and keep them out of the road, I'd be in favor of that. As well as, or the paved shoulders with a line on it. Not only that, but bikers typically have money, okay? They're riding around on bicycles that are, you know, $5,000 or more.
They're certainly
And-
not spending money on baggy clothing.
No, they like the rubber pants and
Yeah,
stuff, which
yeah.
is kind of odd.
It's offensive as well, but
But,
keep going.
you know, I think, I think biker tourists are good, for us. So that's all I got to say about that.
I gotta go leave the clay this time.
Yeah.
And there'll never be enough money to put no bike lanes in mine your lifetime.
Right.
Not in Madison
Well,
County.
I'm not arguing with that one, Pete.
I'm agreeing
But-
with Pete.
Okay,
See, the thing with bike lanes where I've seen them in metro areas,
yeah,
they're actually very dangerous at intersections because nobody really knows who's going where. And I've seen bikes shoot out
They
when there's a
kinda
red light.
ignore.
and- I mean, that's where I really see the most danger in those is at intersections.
okay. I know, in and around Sparrowville and stuff, they've put in a number of paths and bike lanes and stuff, but, okay, never mind.
As far as proffers, it would
I
not be
lose.
high on my list.
I hate to move back, but
We don't take profits.
can we take a look back at page 60?
All right, what are we doing? Yes, we can't. What, is it referencing biking?
No.
That's unfortunate. I was enjoying the biking conversation. All right, what we got? We can't go back 60, Steve. What y'all want to do with bike lanes? The only way I'd go with bike lanes is if it was privately funded, but I don't see that happening. Bike lanes gone, stay in.
Gone.
Gone. All right, there you go. Go back to 60. Thank you.
All right, I thought that the RCUT comments in here about the six-year improvement plan, since that was, is a completed project, that we were gonna take that out. And instead, they took out the Pratt's, roundabout. They left a picture of the Pratt's roundabout, but they also left the RCUT picture.
That is a real, boy, it's something with substance.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
too.
I agree with that.
What was the,
It's on page 60. Steve, would you repeat? You did a real good job.
Yeah, when we were looking at this, there was the Shelby Road intersection RCUT improvement, and there was the Pratt's roundabout. Those were part of the six-year improvement plan. The RCUT is already done, it's completed. And I thought we had decided to take that out and leave the Pratt's as part of what's still in the six-year plan.
We did, I dropped the ball on that one.
Okay.
That's on me.
Yeah.
We'll update that to be correct.
Just replace this whole one with the most current.
Yeah, let's do, Cardi is right. Let's talk, get rid of the R-cut like Steve is talking about, as completed and go to Pratt's roundabout. Also, at the top of the page, we should go ahead and put in the current six-year plan, and just update that, all the information on that one.
Just quick comment on, so yes, on making sure the six-year plan is updated. The only overarching comment I'll have on any of this VDOT stuff, there are certain blocks or boxes you have to check for the state code of what has to be in your comprehensive plan.
transportation plan's one of them. So I'm not sure if smart scale is what those two projects are, the R cut and the circle. I don't know if they're required, but we'll just want to make sure that what is required per state code that has to be part of the transportation plan is included, and then deduct any of these other things that you mentioned. So if they have to stay in, staff will bring it back. They may not, but we just need to make sure we meet that transportation goal of the state code.
Everybody fine with that?
Would that also include the fiscal year 2023? I mean, does that need to be moved up a little bit?
It'll be adjusted.
Being this is the 24, 25 plan.
It will be adjusted.
Adjusted, yeah.
Everybody good? All right. Moving on to 63. We have, the words encourage and promote, being deleted. I think we're doing that. We don't need to use just adjectives, adding it in there just for nothing.
All right, I got,
Please
I got
go.
two more on this one.
Good.
On 2.2, it says, to be located within a half mile of the highway. Well, that's in conflict with the Route 29 study, page 5 of Route 29 study, which calls for a mile.
Pardon me, Cardy. Let's say 2.2 is where we
Yeah.
are.
Uh-huh.
Change half mile to mile, then it's consistent.
Yeah, then it's consistent, or we change the Route 29 corridor study to a half mile. I guess for now, we're gonna look at that later, so let's just change this to a mile, all right?
Done.
Got it? And then 2.4, it says discourage Route 29 from being designated as restricted. I was looking at it this morning, I went, oppose. I want it to be stronger than discourage. I want to oppose Route 29 being designated as a restricted highway, access highway. We did it once and won, and if it comes back up again, man, you're talking about making a mess of people like Hunter Weaver and everybody all up and down that road. So I say we change discourage to oppose.
How does that, I agree with you. How does that pertain to like pieces of property, like the, Tina Weaver's piece next to Yoder's, where we were trying to get them to use, the
Access road?
access roads, yes. Does oppose making, I agree with what you're saying.
That's
but
on their
that-
deed.
What?
That's on their deed.
Yeah, as
Yes,
opposed
but like
to
even like use even the Wyland property going on to that next tract, whatever the next one, I think it's owned by, is it J.C. Holdings or
It's,
AC Limited?
I'll have to look
It
at
doesn't
it.
matter, whatever's past the
It's an
Wyland
LLC,
property.
yeah.
What
That-
exactly is restricted access?
It's like an interstate thing where they'd fence it off and put designated ingress and egress all up and down 29.
Does,
Now, huh?
I would go with the state,
Yeah,
for
VDOT.
sure.
I think it
Yeah.
was called something T or something. But I'm trying to get to whatever they call it. Maybe we go back in time and see exactly
That's
what
fine.
would separate
'Cause
what
the-
I'm talking about with
The-
access roads.
The idea is so that we don't look like some of the shoddier communities, going down 29 and any of these type of roads that just have gas station after gas station of nothingness, but still do not let it become a restricted access highway. Somebody, y'all look into it and see, you got terminology down there, Hannah?
Yeah, there's,
That's a
it's
bummer.
a restricted highway, also known as a limited access highway, is a high-speed road that has limited access to adjacent properties. These roads are designed to move traffic more freely and include freeways and interstates. You may recall VDOT some years ago, when I was up there, they said, hey, we'd like to close down all these crossovers, and it was things from Fairground Road going all the way down to which they did do below Seville Road. And we said no on several of those. So that was that concept that they were looking to do at that time. It was
So-
restricting
So if we
number of
get-
access points.
If we get rid of the terminology like Cordy's suggesting is restricted access highway, does that preclude us from having the ability to put in these access roads?
Well, I think you could put oppose Route 29 being designated as a restricted access highway, and then you could just have another sentence that says, however, we don't want to impede the flow of traffic down 29 or create too many turnoffs or whatever it is, urban blight. I don't know what the phrase is going to be.
I don't know if we had language service road in here or not. At one time, we had
We
language.
did at one time, yeah.
So, but that, I think you can control that, my opinion, you can control that with the site development such as the Wheeling property, which also gave access to the adjoining property
Yeah,
that you described. Control it through your development. This here is just saying, hey, we don't want it limited. You may want to choose
don't want
that,
the
that
state to
development
dictate.
aligns with a
Unless- yeah,
crossover.
regardless, or unless public safety is,
Right.
affected, yes.
It's just like you said, if you go down 29 toward Lynchburg, all it does is, if you want to have businesses, you have frontage roads on both sides, so between your major intersections, you get off to the frontage road, and they build them up the same way.
Do we need to add to goal 2 something about access roads from 29?
That's what I.
It seems that
kinda
the
think.
comment, by making it a restricted access highway, is serving that purpose. Because you don't want to have, pardon me, by saying that, you don't want to have a road that only has on-ramps and off-ramps every 5 miles or whatever it is that they designate. You just want to avoid that. Now,
I think the counter thought is, like when you get towards Charlottesville and you're on 29, you've got a turn every,
15 feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they can handle it because, I don't know, it's 8 or 10 lanes sometimes, you know, as you're getting in there. But I think that's the concern is it's a turn off every,
I mean, I certainly do
I'm
appreciate
just
the
saying,
development.
whatever we can come up with, whatever that, the
Let's-
VDOT terminology for turning that into an interstate type thing, that's what I want there.
Everybody,
But when you do that, you're gonna cover the access roads, because by doing that, you can put the access roads there because it's done, what you want to do.
So,
so leave it or get rid of it, Pete?
I would leave oppose,
Yes.
but I think that word oppose would take care of whether, if you want to put access roads in, you could, because when you oppose putting the interstate there, you can't put it there anyway.
Okay. All right, let's go with this terminology oppose instead of discourage. Yeah, first thunderstorm of the season, it's good. We can all play in the mud for the next couple days. Good with oppose instead of discourage, and that'll still give us the ability to have access roads. All right. What else you got, Cardi? Anything on that one?
no.
All right, let me get back to notes. Go to 60, I think it's, yeah, 66. We've redlined the objective is to prevent disrupt of land use activities and scenic qualities of Madison, to ensure public safety and welfare by utility transmission and distribution line equipment, buildings, and facilities. That's consistent with our other goals that we have in place already. There's no reason to restate it. Anybody have any issues with that?
Yeah, the reason that's been redlined is because that was part of the utilities corridor. It was an appendix at the time, so it's no use. You know, we had the objectives and all that stuff there, so it's a different organization.
Everybody good? Everybody down there? All right. That's where my red lines stop. Who else has things that they would like to address past page 66? Any items that people have that are past 66? My intent on this is to, once we're done with this, we send it back to Alan and his staff and Hannon and everybody, come out with the last version of the comp plan, and then we need to go to public hearing on this. Anybody else have any comments that we need to shoot towards them? And if you got grammatical stuff, please send it as well. Anybody else? Alan, anything?
When would you like to have the public hearing? We can advertise tomorrow and hear it in April. Tomorrow is our deadline for April. Or we can kick it back a month if you want to make more changes.
Yeah, I think we've got a handful of public hearings, it appears, in April. Like the 8th, and then we've got the budget, I think it's on the 22nd. Is that right? 22nd, somewhere in there.
Yes,
It doesn't
sir. Is
matter.
the goal for
Let's-
it to be a public hearing during
Yeah.
your joint session
Yeah.
or just for?
We're gonna do it
okay.
at the first, let's hold the public hearing at the first meeting, at the regular meeting, of the joint bodies of May.
Understood.
Everybody good with that? There you go. Let's do that. But we do need this thing to be bounced out to everybody again, just to make sure everything is kind of where we're at. Please.
I was just going over with Hannah and showed me some things. There may be a mandatory review period for other agencies to make comments. Like I believe I saw language where VDOT had a minimum review time. We may have to meet that. I'll follow up.
Let's
On the transportation.
Yes, sir. And there may be others got to look at it.
shoot for May. In the same regard, we're going to have another one of these meetings in April. Why don't we talk about this one more time in April? And we don't have to go through it or anything, just confirm that May fits that timeline. Adjustment of this, if it has to be May or June, makes very little difference. Is that right or wrong? Everybody good?
I got one overall comment on the Route 29 corridor. We're good on that's the last one, the last Route 29 corridor update was in 2012.
Yes, sir. We need to,
13 years old.
the board needs to task the planning commission again to go through the Route 29 corridor study and update it. It is a document, though, that is similar to the comp plan that takes months to develop. We can always go in there and do an amendment to the comp plan through a public hearing process to add the updated Route 29 corridor study to the comp plan when it is complete. It's certainly something, Kevin McGee did a great job on it in 2012 with a lot of help. You all will do a equally good job, and we'll kind of come up with something, and then we can add it as an addendum. Does that make sense? Everybody good on this? We're gonna come back in April, make sure we confirm a date, and we're compliant with all the law. Andy, you're on, Jack, and Alan. Anybody else have anything on the comp plan? All right, Mike brings up the question about the Route 29 corridor study. Do we want to task the planning commission with doing something on this currently, or do we want to wait a little bit of time?
Well, I think I'd like to go ahead and task them, but, I mean,
Yeah,
for the
100%.
chairman to work it into their schedule, so, yeah, I move that we task the planning commission to update the Route 29 corridor study.
I think it's pretty important, to be quite honest.
Oh, of course it is.
And particularly, it's so old.
Yeah.
That's my motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
So Steve, you just heard Bank volunteer to head that up.
Hey,
Fine, I
Mike,
got nothing else to do.
there you go.
There you go.
I tell you what, when you read through that, you're gonna be amazed at what a job Kevin McGee did. It is really good.
Thank you all very, very much for all your hard work. I know there's a lot of meetings that went into this, and then before then, Alan and Jonathan and everybody that's worked on it, y'all have done a great job on the comp plan. It's a good document, and we're meeting the timeline, unlike so many communities around us. Really is a good document, and will be used against us in a diligent way. Anything else? All right. Yeah, I don't know, you did a good job. All right,
You wanna adjourn first,
I don't
Steve?
know, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Steve, you wanna go? All right, good.
Oh.
Let's, all right, no information and correspondence. Any public comment? Have we gotten a whole lot? That's yeah, good to see people are watching. No public comment. We don't have a closed session. What would y'all like to do? Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you all.
Okay, what we have left, Alan, is you want to run through the upcoming workshop items, and we'll also make a plan for maybe at the next workshop, looking at that Route 29 corridor task.
Yeah, it's got one on top there. Here we go, thank you. All right. In an effort to not make the computer crash, I closed everything else, so give me just a second here. All right, we have a few things upcoming. Thanks, sir. We have Jonathan Nichols rezoning application. This will be the second workshop. Small acreage in Kinderhook should be pretty straightforward. We've got the Two Rivers, a special use permit for a campground off of Clore Road. Also not terribly complicated. I anticipate that we'll see a few more campgrounds in the near future come through, so be prepared for that. Black Cat Antiques, second workshop on this one. There was a question outstanding on what the applicant wanted to do with their application type, which was to say, will it run with the land or will it run with the applicant? In this case, the applicant would like it to run with the land. So if their tenants move out, it can continue to be an antique store, should another tenant see fit to use it that way. AC Limited Partnership, A1 to B1 rezoning application, just south of Shelby. Second workshop for that one. We have a subdivision, which seems to be straightforward, on Beamtown Road. We will advertise for a public hearing that will come up in April for the campground definition. I took an application the other day after PDRC for a A1 to B1 rezoning near Oak Park. And so that'll be an interesting one. We'll hear that. We'll continue to work on the comprehensive plan, and that's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you.
On the
And
Black Cat,
all of these are,
Should Martha be a party to that request?
I can get a letter from you. I don't think that she cares to attend, but if you'd like her to, I will ask.
If I was gonna go with John Bain, if it's
Yeah,
gonna be her
yeah.
land, I think she probably needs to be a party to it.
Okay,
Ra-
let you and I
rather-
connect afterwards, Betsy, and we'll iron it out.
yeah, rather
I'll
than
wait for you.
just have her signature on the form,
Mhm.
a letter saying, this is what I want to do.
I'm quite sure we can prepare that.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So with this Black Cat and the Lloyd Jones antique car museum, I'm not quite understanding why, and maybe there's a reason why aren't we rezoning this land instead of putting special use permits all over the county everywhere? This is clearly a business. If we rezone the land, it's gonna make more money for the county, because you're gonna get more taxes out of the real estate. And eventually, we're gonna have more special use permits than we know what to do with, and businesses running everywhere. I think we need to start looking at rezoning some of this land rather than keep using special use permits. That's just an opinion.
Whenever appropriate, absolutely, I agree.
Good point. Kind of goes along with what we were discovering about trying to put so many limits on the B1 when we do a rezone. Yeah,
Certainly can encourage people to go that route, but at the end of the day, if they apply for special use, that's what we'll hear.
That's one of the reasons we lowered the fee from 1,000 down to 600, to approximate the SUP fee.
Is there anything we can do to change it to where we can get the land rezoned rather than using the SUP? I mean, that's clearly been a business, and it's a business, will be a business again.
I believe that particular parcel is like 55 acres. The whole 55 acres wouldn't be. You could split zone some more.
Speaking in generalities, of course.
Yeah.
Nobody else said anything.
But right. I suppose what you could do is you can always deny an SUP and encourage a rezone. I'm not suggesting a course of action, I'm just talking through.
yeah.
So they're going
The
to pay
clo-
twice.
The closest thing,
Might be way
Yeah, the
I'm
closest
not-
thing similar to this,
We did have welding shops.
yeah, that, we had a business that had been in operation for years, had not been in operation for a significant time, so that they were not able to say this is a continuing business. And this may be in that category, because that museum had not been open for quite a few years.
The special use permit for that museum also very specifically stated that business.
Yeah.
It did not extend to just that use in general, or, but say museums. Nope, it was, the permit was issued to the Roaring Twenties Antique Car Museum.
So I kind of tend to agree with Pete on this. I'm not sure a special use permit is the appropriate way to do it.
I don't think you can force them to do it though.
No.
I mean-
It's,
And it's only
it's
to
in
be a
our,
recommendation from Mal.
right, it's in our ordinance, the way it is.
until
so-
it's actually on
Well, we've already,
if I may, this one's come through the PDRC already, but in hearing the feedback from the commission, and I throw this out also to comment for the board, if both bodies would like, the time that catch these things would be at or encourage or discuss, would be at the preliminary development review committee meetings. That's where you're still in exploratory mode. And if it's a desire of both bodies, we can definitely be more conscious of that when they apply. While that group has been authorized by the board or sanctioned by the board, whatever you want to say, we're still a recommending body at the PDRC level. So we certainly could push that way, or not push, advise, recommend, suggest. That way it may clean it up before it even gets, because that body recommends things to the planning commission, rezone and special application permits, or
Our
special use.
primary problem with this kind of thing is that we're supposed to be looking at the ordinances and basing what we do on those. And our ordinances right now say, yeah, this is what you can do. So they have every right to apply for the SUP. and go
Yes.
from there, yeah. Even though we might prefer it another way. Okay, any other good comments? Yes, any other good comments? Sounds like the rain's almost stopped. Anything else? Any public comment? Nobody on? Okay. Did they give up on us? Two people? Okay, thank you. All right, so we're set up for next workshop. We will take a look at the Route 29 corridor tasking and see if we need to do any more changes with the comp plan and be ready for that. Anything, any discussion, any comments, anything else to go over? If not, can we hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Second, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.